Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the Horizon. His hands shook as he read the message from the Galactic Council. The words on the screen made his stomach turn. After 200 years of fighting for the galaxy, the Council had made their final decision. Earth would lose all voting rights. Humans would become a protected species, like animals in a zoo. Jake looked out at the stars through the wide window. His ship was one of 50 human vessels patrolling the outer rim. They had been keeping peace in this sector for over 30 years. The alien pirates had stopped attacking trade ships because they feared human soldiers. Now the Council was saying humans were too dangerous to be free. Captain Lisa Carter walked onto the bridge. She had been in the communication room, talking to other human commanders across the galaxy. Her face was pale and her eyes were red. Jake, every human ship got the same message. The Council voted yesterday. 847 votes. To strip our rights. Only one abstention. Jake nodded slowly. The Epsilon Collective? Yes, their representative was too sick to speak. Lisa handed him a datapad. I've been getting reports from our intelligence network. The Zephyrian Empire pushed for this vote. They want our quantum drive technology. When we refused to share it, they convinced the Council that humans are a threat to galactic peace. Jake read through the reports. The Zephyrians had been planning this for months. They had spread lies about human aggression. They told other alien species that humans were building secret weapons. They said Earth was planning to conquer the galaxy. It's all lies, Jake said. We've saved their worlds. We've fought their wars. We've died for them. Lisa sat down in the chair next to him. Remember the Battle of Kepler 7? We lost 3,000 human soldiers saving the Altarian Republic from slavery. Remember the Red Plague? Dr. Ben Hayes worked for 5 years to find a cure. He saved billions of alien lives, Jake remembered. He had been there at Kepler 7. He had watched his friends die protecting aliens who now voted to cage humanity. The Red Plague had been the worst disease in galactic history. It had killed entire planets. Human doctors had worked day and night to stop it. They had shared their cure freely with every species in the galaxy. What about the frontier wars? Jake asked. We fought for 17 years to protect the outer colonies. The Council begged us to help. They said only human soldiers were brave enough to face the Void Hunters. Lisa pulled up more files on her datapad. I've been counting, Jake. In the last 2 centuries, humans have fought in 17 major wars for the Council. We've saved 43 civilizations from extinction. We've stopped 6 genocides. We've cured 12 major diseases. We've built the jump gates that connect their worlds. We've maintained their space stations. We've kept their peace. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Below them, the planet Sanctum rotated slowly. It was a beautiful world with blue oceans and green continents. 5 years ago, it had been a dead rock. Human terraforming teams had spent 3 years making it livable. Now it was home to 2 million hegemony refugees who had fled their dying world. The Council is meeting again tomorrow, Lisa said. They're going to formalize the decision. Admiral Kate Thompson is there representing Earth. She's tried to speak, but they won't let her. Jake's communication device beeped. He pressed the button and Admiral Thompson's voice filled the bridge. She sounded tired and defeated. All human commanders, this is Admiral Thompson. The Council has made their final decision. Earth will be placed under protective custody. All human military operations will be supervised by alien observers. Our colonies will be managed by Council administrators. Our technology will be shared with all member species. Jake felt anger rising in his chest. They want to turn us into slaves. Admiral Thompson continued speaking. The Council believes that humans are too violent and unpredictable to govern themselves. They say our aggression makes us a danger to galactic peace. They're sending fleets to every human world to enforce their decision. Lisa stood up. Jake, I'm getting reports from across the galaxy. Human colonies are refusing to accept Council control. The Mars shipyards have closed their doors. The Titan research stations have gone dark. The Jupiter mining platforms have stopped sending resources. Jake activated his ship's communication system. He opened a channel to every human vessel in the sector. This is Commander Morrison. I'm sure you've all heard the news. The Council has decided that we're too dangerous to be free. They want to cage us like animals. 50 ship captains responded. Their voices filled the bridge with anger and defiance. Captain Roy Jenkins of the Merchant Vessel Trader spoke first. Jake, my family has been hauling cargo for the Council for 4 generations. We've never missed a delivery. We've never cheated anyone. Now they want to put alien supervisors on my ship. Captain Nina Foster of the research vessel Explorer added her voice. I've spent 20 years studying alien diseases. I've saved more lives than I can count. The Council says my work is too dangerous for humans to continue alone. Jake listened to dozens of similar stories. Every human had given their life to serving the galaxy. They had fought and died and worked and sacrificed. Now the Council was telling them it wasn't enough. They were too dangerous to be trusted. The Council made their choice, Jake said. Now we make ours. Lisa looked at him. What are you thinking? Jake smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. I'm thinking about what President Dan Cooper said in his last message. If the universe thinks we're too dangerous to be free, maybe it's time to show them what dangerous really means. The communication system crackled with responses from human ships across the sector. Every captain was asking the same question. What were they going to do? Jake looked out at the stars one more time. The galaxy was vast and beautiful. Humans had spent 2 centuries making it safer and better. They had asked for nothing in return except to be treated as equals. Now the Council had shown their true feelings. Send a message to Earth, Jake told Lisa. Tell them the Outer Rim fleet is ready. Whatever President Cooper decides, we'll support him. Lisa nodded and began typing. Jake knew that similar messages were being sent from every human ship in the galaxy. The Council thought they had won. They thought humans would accept their decision quietly. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The universe was about to discover what happened when you betrayed the people who had spent 2 centuries protecting you. The galaxy had made its choice. Now humanity would make theirs. Captain Roy Jenkins checked his navigation computer for the 3rd time. The readings made no sense. He was supposed to meet the regular cargo ship from Mars 3 days ago. The Sol System jump gate should have been right here, but there was nothing. Empty space stretched in all directions. Roy had been running cargo between Earth colonies and the outer worlds for 15 years. He knew every jump gate in this sector. The Sol gate was massive, bigger than most space stations. It couldn't just disappear. But his sensors showed nothing except dust and distant stars. Computer, run full spectrum scan, Roy said to his ships. Artificial intelligence. Scanning complete. No artificial structures detected. No quantum signatures. No hyperspace beacons, the computer replied in its calm voice. Roy felt a chill run down his spine. The jump gate wasn't just broken or powered. Down. It was gone. Completely gone. Like it had never existed at all. His communication system crackled to life. This is Captain Nina Foster on the Explorer. Roy, are you getting anything from the Sol gate? Nothing, Nina. It's like the whole thing vanished. Same here. I've been trying to reach the Mars shipyards for 2 days. No response. No beacon signals. Nothing. Roy opened a channel to other ships in the area. Within minutes, he had 12 captains reporting the same thing. Every jump gate that led to human space was gone. The quantum beacons that had connected human worlds to the galaxy for 200 years had simply disappeared. Back on Nexus Prime, Ambassador Paul Jackson rushed through the corridors of the Galactic Council building. Emergency meetings had been called in 3 different sectors. The Zephyrian delegates were screaming about lost trade routes. The hegemony representatives were demanding answers about their missing mining contracts. Paul burst into the main council chamber. The room was in chaos. Alien delegates were shouting in dozens of different languages. The Zephyrian defense minister was pounding his fist on his desk. The Altarian trade representative was crying into her communication device. Order! Order! Chancellor Vera Singh called out. Her voice echoed through the chamber's sound system. We will address each concern in turn. The Zephyrian minister stood up. His blue skin had turned dark with anger. My fleets cannot reach the Centauri colonies. 3 entire star systems have gone dark. Our jump gates are reading error codes we've never seen before. The Altarian representative wiped tears from her large eyes. Our food shipments from the agricultural worlds are 3 weeks overdue. Our people are starting to ration supplies. We need those human-grown crops, or we'll face famine. Paul listened to report after report. The pattern was clear. Every star system under human protection had become unreachable. The jump gates still existed, but they led nowhere. Ships that entered them came out in empty space with no idea where they were. Dr. Maria Santos, the Council's chief scientist, stood at the main display screen. Her tentacles moved frantically as she operated the holographic controls. I've been analyzing the quantum readings from the affected jump gates. The signatures are completely wrong. It's like the gates are trying to connect to destinations that don't exist. Chancellor Singh looked confused. What do you mean? Destinations that don't exist? The human colonies are still there, Dr. Santos explained. We can see them on our long-range sensors. But the quantum tunnels that connect them to our hyperspace network have been severed, cut, destroyed. The gates are trying to reach through dimensions that have been sealed off. The chamber fell silent. Every delegate stared at the holographic display showing the affected regions. Over 200 star systems had been cut off from the galactic network. All of them were human worlds or colonies under human protection. Defense Minister Tony Clark of the hegemony spoke up. How is this possible? The quantum tunnel network has been stable for over 1,000 years. No one has the technology to manipulate hyperspace on this scale. Dr. Santos manipulated the display to show energy readings from the past month. The quantum fluctuations began exactly 72 hours after the Council's vote on the human question. The pattern suggests a coordinated collapse of the tunnel network. Someone with advanced knowledge of hyperspace physics planned this. Ambassador Jackson felt sick. Are you saying the humans did this? I'm saying someone with access to human quantum technology and a complete understanding of our hyperspace network orchestrated this event, Dr. Santos replied. The precision required is incredible. They managed to cut off their own space without damaging the surrounding tunnel network. The implications hit the chamber like a physical blow. The humans hadn't just disappeared. They had pulled their entire civilization out of the galaxy's reach. Every human world, every human ship, every human station had vanished behind walls of collapsed quantum space. Captain Carol Lewis stood in the command center of the hidden base beyond the galaxy's edge. Massive screens showed the quantum displacement field that surrounded all human territory. The field was invisible to most sensors, but it was incredibly powerful. It had pulled over 200 star systems into a pocket dimension that existed parallel to normal space. Field stability is holding at 98%, reported Lieutenant Sam Price from his console. All human worlds are safely within the displacement zone. Carol nodded with satisfaction. What about the alien reactions? Monitoring stations report complete chaos in council space, Sam replied. Trade routes are collapsing. Several alien fleets are stranded without fuel or supplies. The Zephyrians are trying to send military ships to investigate, but they can't even find our space anymore. The project had taken 50 years to plan and build. Human scientists had studied captured alien technology and combined it with their own innovations. They had secretly built quantum generators on every human world. When activated together, the generators had created a massive displacement field that pulled all human space into a separate dimension. Carol looked at the tactical display, showing the galaxy beyond their hidden realm. Without human peacekeepers, old conflicts were starting again. The hegemony was moving ships toward Zephyrian space. The Outer Rim colonies were declaring independence. Pirates were attacking undefended trade routes. "Ma'am," Sam said, "we're receiving reports from our intelligence agents still in council space. The galactic economy is beginning to collapse. Ships are stranded without human-maintained jump gates. Several alien governments are requesting emergency aid." Carol smiled grimly. "Let them request. They voted to cage us like animals. Now they can learn what it means to live without the people they thought they could control." The galaxy was finally seeing the truth. Humans hadn't been servants or soldiers, or a dangerous species that needed to be controlled. They had been the foundation that held galactic civilization together. The engineers who built the jump gates, the technicians who maintained the space stations, the doctors who cured diseases, the soldiers who kept peace. Now they were gone, and the universe was beginning to shake. General Sam Price stood in the war room of the secret base, watching the holographic display that showed the galaxy beyond their hidden dimension. Red warning lights flashed across dozens of star systems. The aliens were tearing each other apart. "Report." Sam ordered his intelligence officer. Lieutenant Grace Miller stepped forward with a data pad. "Sir, the hegemony attacked the Zephyrian border world 6 hours ago. They're claiming the Zephyrians stole their trade routes when the human jump gates went dark. The Zephyrians are fighting back with everything they have." Sam nodded grimly. "What about the Outer Rim?" "Complete chaos, sir. Without human peacekeepers, the old tribal wars have started again. The Cygnus sector is burning. The Altarian Republic is fighting 3 different rebel groups. The Trade Federation is breaking apart." Sam had expected this. For 2 centuries, human soldiers had kept peace between alien species that hated each other. The moment humans disappeared, those old hatreds exploded into violence. The galaxy was learning what peace really cost. Chief Engineer Carol Lewis walked into the room carrying a technical report. "Sam, the quantum displacement field is working perfectly. We've moved all human space into a pocket dimension that exists parallel to normal space. The aliens can't reach us even if they figure out where we went. How long can we maintain it?" Sam asked. "Indefinitely," Carol replied. "The field draws power from the quantum foam itself. We're essentially invisible to anyone outside our dimension, but we can watch everything they do." Sam looked at the tactical display again. The galaxy was collapsing faster than he had predicted. "What about the infrastructure?" Carol pulled up another screen. "That's the real problem for them. Humans built and maintained 90% of the galactic jump gate network. Without our engineers, the gates are starting to fail. The Nexus, Prime Central Hub, is showing critical errors. And the space stations? Worse. The massive orbital platforms that process raw materials and manufacture goods were all designed by human engineers. The aliens don't understand how they work. Station 7 in the Vega system went dark yesterday. Complete life support failure." Sam felt a mix of satisfaction and sadness. The aliens had treated humans like expendable servants. They had never bothered to learn how their own civilization worked. Now they were paying the price. Intelligence Director Tony Clark entered the war room with urgent news. "Sam, we just intercepted a desperate message from the Epsilon Collective. The Red Plague is back." Sam felt his blood run cold. "That's impossible. Dr. Ben Hayes cured that disease 20 years ago. The cure requires regular treatment," Tony explained. "Human medical teams have been providing medicine to the Epsilon worlds every 6 months. Without those treatments, the plague is returning. The collective is facing extinction." Sam stared at the display showing Epsilon space. Those aliens had been humanity's only friends in the Council. They had abstained from the vote to cage humans. Now they were dying because of the galaxy's decision. "Sir," Grace Miller interrupted, "we're getting reports from across the galaxy. The Altarian agricultural systems are failing. The hegemony mining operations have stopped. The Zephyrian defense networks are going offline. Everything the aliens took for granted was maintained by human technicians." Sam walked to the large window that looked out at the stars beyond their hidden dimension. In the distance, he could see the glow of burning worlds. The galaxy was destroying itself without human guidance. Admiral Kate Thompson entered the war room. She had been Earth's representative to the Council before the withdrawal. Now she coordinated intelligence gathering from their hidden base. "Sam, the casualty reports are coming in," Kate said quietly. "In just 6 months, more sentient beings have died from infrastructure failures than in all 17 wars we fought for the Council." "How many?" Sam asked. "Over 2 billion so far. The Vega system station collapse killed 400 million. The agricultural failures are causing famine on dozens of worlds. The returning diseases are spreading faster than alien doctors can handle." Sam felt the weight of those numbers. 2 billion lives lost because the aliens had decided humans were too dangerous to be free. The galaxy was learning that the real danger came from losing the people who had protected them. What about the Council? Sam asked. Kate activated a holographic display showing the Nexus Prime Council chambers. The Great Hall was nearly empty. Half the member species have withdrawn from the Council. They're too busy fighting their own wars or dealing with internal collapse. The Zephyrians are trying to hold things together, but they're losing control. And the search efforts? Pathetic. Kate replied. They've sent scout fleets to every system where humans used to live. They find nothing because we're not in normal space anymore. Some of them think we've all died. Others believe we fled to another galaxy. Tony Clark spoke up. Sir, we're intercepting more and more distress calls. The aliens are starting to realize what they've lost. Some of them are offering incredible deals just to get human technicians back. Sam looked at the messages scrolling across the communication screen. The Altarian Republic was offering to give humans their entire merchant fleet. The hegemony was promising 3-star systems in exchange for just one human engineering team. The desperate aliens were offering everything they had. It's too late for deals, Sam said. They made their choice when they voted to cage us. Now they live with the consequences. Carol Lewis pulled up another display. Sam, the quantum field generators are detecting something interesting. The aliens are trying to recreate our technology. They're building new jump gates based on incomplete human designs. Will they succeed? Not a chance. They're missing crucial components they never bothered to learn about. Every attempt is making their infrastructure problems worse. Sam smiled grimly. The aliens had spent 2 centuries using human technology without understanding it. They had treated humans like tools rather than partners. Now they were learning the difference between using something and truly understanding it. Sir, Grace, Miller said, President Dan Cooper is requesting a status report. He wants to know if we're ready for the next phase. Sam looked around the war room at his officers. They had spent 2 years watching the galaxy tear itself apart. The aliens had learned their lesson about taking human protection for granted. Now it was time to teach them about respect. "Tell the president we're ready," Sam said. "The galaxy has had enough time to think about what they've lost. Now they're going to learn what it takes to get it back." Chancellor Vera Singh stood in the empty council chamber on Nexus Prime. The great hall that once held representatives from 1,000 worlds now had only 50 delegates. The others were either dead, fighting wars, or had withdrawn from the council entirely. Her hands shook as she activated the emergency communication system. This message would be broadcast to every corner of the galaxy, hoping that somehow, somewhere, humans would hear it. "People of Earth," she began, her voice breaking. "Citizens of humanity. The Galactic Council formally apologizes for our grave error in judgment. We beg you to return to the galaxy. We need your help." The words felt like poison in her mouth. For 800 years, her species had been leaders in the galaxy. Now she was begging the very people they had tried to cage. Fleet Admiral Ryan Brooks watched the transmission from his hidden monitoring station. Around him, human intelligence officers recorded every word. The proud aliens who had voted to strip humanity of their rights were now crawling back, desperate and broken. "Admiral," his communications officer called out, "we're detecting massive alien fleet movements. They're gathering at the edge of what used to be our space." Ryan looked at the tactical display. Hundreds of alien ships were positioning themselves in formation. But these weren't attack formations. The ships were broadcasting surrender codes and carrying white flags of truce. "Sir," another officer reported, "the Zephyrian Empire just sent their entire remaining fleet. They're not armed for battle. They're carrying cargo pods." Ryan activated the external sensors to get a closer look. The Zephyrian ships were loaded with gifts, rare metals, advanced technology, even their crown jewels. The proud empire that had started this whole crisis was now offering everything they owned. Dr. Helen Ward sat in her office reading the formal treaty document that had been transmitted from the Council. As Earth's former liaison to the aliens, she understood the legal language better than anyone. What she read made her shake her head in amazement. The treaty granted humanity complete independence from all Council oversight. It gave humans voting rights equal to any founding member of the Council. It offered exclusive control over all human territory and technology. It promised that no alien government would ever again interfere with human decisions. But there was more. The treaty offered reparations that were almost impossible to believe. Entire star systems would be given to humanity. The aliens would provide free technology sharing for 100 years. They would pay for the reconstruction of any human facilities damaged during the withdrawal. "It's everything we asked for before they tried to cage us," Helen said to her assistant, "and much more." Her assistant, a young human named Billy Carter, looked confused. "Then why haven't we accepted it?" Helen smiled sadly. "Because it's not enough. They're offering us what we should have had all along. But they're not offering what we really want." "What do we want?" "Respect, real respect. Not the kind you give because you're afraid, but the kind you give because you truly understand someone's worth." Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Liberty, humanity's new flagship. The ship was massive, bigger than anything the aliens had ever built. It was a symbol of human power and independence. "Jake," his communications officer called. "Out, we're receiving another transmission from the alien fleets. This one is from the Epsilon Collective." Jake's expression softened. The Epsilon were the only aliens who had refused to vote against humanity. They had been dying from the returning Red Plague while the galaxy burned around them. The transmission showed the Epsilon leader, barely alive and connected to life support systems. "Commander Morrison, we know you can hear us. We never wanted to see humanity caged. We abstained from that terrible vote. Our people are dying, But we don't ask for your help because we demand it. We ask because we hope you remember we tried to be your friends. Jake felt a stab of guilt. The Epsilon were good people. They had always treated humans with respect and dignity. Now they were paying the price for the galaxy's mistakes. Sir, his tactical officer reported, President Cooper is requesting your presence in the Situation Room. The cabinet is meeting to discuss the alien proposals. Jake made his way through the ship's corridors to the secure meeting room. President Dan Cooper sat at the head of a long table surrounded by his top advisors. The president looked older than his years. Leading humanity through this crisis had taken its toll. Jake, good. We're discussing the alien surrender offers, Cooper said. What's the military assessment? The alien fleets are completely helpless, Jake replied. They can't reach our space. They can't fight without our technology, and they're destroying themselves with civil wars. If we wanted to conquer them, we could do it easily. But that's not what we want, Cooper said. Is it? Jake shook his head. No, sir. We never wanted to rule them. We just wanted to be treated as equals. General Sam Price spoke up from his chair. The question is whether they've learned their lesson. Are they offering us partnership, or are they just scared? Intelligence Director Tony Clark opened a file on his tablet. Our agents report that the alien populations are genuinely sorry for what happened. The ordinary people never wanted to see humanity caged. It was their leaders who made that decision. And now their leaders are dead or powerless, Cooper observed. The galaxy has new leadership. The question is whether we can trust them. Dr. Helen Ward entered the room carrying the treaty documents. I've finished analyzing their offers. Legally, they're giving us everything we could want. But I agree with General Price. We need to know if this is real respect or just fear. Cooper stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the stars of human space glowed peacefully in their pocket dimension. The galaxy is offering us the crown. They want us to be their leaders, their protectors, their guides. But are we ready for that responsibility? We've been doing it for 2 centuries, Jake pointed out. We just never got credit for it. That's different, Cooper replied. Before, we were their servants pretending to be their equals. Now they want us to be their masters. That's a much bigger responsibility. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Humanity had the power to reshape the galaxy according to their will. The question was whether they were wise enough to use that power correctly. The aliens are waiting for our answer, Cooper said finally. They're dying out there while we decide their fate. Whatever we choose, we need to choose it soon. Jake looked around the room at the faces of humanity's leaders. They held the destiny of 1 trillion alien lives in their hands. The galaxy had made its choice when it tried to cage humanity. Now humanity would make theirs. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Liberty as the quantum barriers around human space began to shimmer and fade. After 3 years of isolation, humanity was returning to the galaxy. But they were returning on their own terms. Massive displacement field that had hidden human civilization slowly dissolved. One by one, human star systems reappeared in normal space. The aliens waiting at the borders watched in amazement as entire worlds materialized out of nothing. Admiral, his communications officer reported, alien fleets are requesting permission to approach. They're maintaining safe distances and broadcasting peaceful intentions. Jake nodded. Let them come. But keep our weapons ready. Trust takes time to rebuild. President Dan Cooper appeared on the main screen from his office on the new capital ship. Behind him, Earth glowed through the window, blue and beautiful and free. Jake, are you ready for the ceremony? Yes, sir. The new council chambers are prepared. The old council building on Nexus Prime was ruins now, destroyed in the civil wars that had torn the galaxy apart. The new council would meet in human space, aboard human ships, under human protection. The galaxy would be governed by those who had always done the governing, but now everyone would know it. Chancellor Vera Singh arrived aboard a small diplomatic vessel. She looked much older than when she had last seen humans 3 years ago. The collapse of galactic civilization had broken her spirit and aged her body. She walked slowly onto the Liberty, escorted by human marines. "Admiral Morrison," she said, quietly, "thank you for agreeing to meet with us." Jake studied her face. The arrogance was gone. The condescending attitude that had marked her species for centuries had been replaced by genuine humility. "Chancellor Singh, I hope you understand the terms of our return." "We understand," she replied. "Humanity will lead the new galactic community. We accept your authority in all matters of peace and security." Dr. Helen Ward entered the conference room carrying the new governing documents. The human accords would replace the old council charter. Every alien species that wanted to join the new galactic community would have to sign them. The accords establish humanity as the final authority on interstellar disputes. Helen explained to the assembled alien delegates, "We will be the peacekeepers, the arbiters, and the protectors. No species will make war without human permission. No genocide will occur under human watch. No slavery will be tolerated in human space." The Zephyrian representative, a young female who had replaced their old warlike leadership, raised her hand. "What about our internal affairs? Will humans interfere in our domestic policies?" President Cooper answered from his seat at the head of the table. "We have no interest in running your worlds for you. But if your domestic policies threaten other species or violate basic rights, we will act. The galaxy has seen enough suffering." The Epsilon Collective delegate, one of the few survivors of the Red Plague's return, spoke weakly. "What about species that supported the original vote against humanity? Will they be punished?" "The past is past," Cooper replied, "but the future will be earned. Species that prove themselves committed to peace and cooperation will be welcomed as full partners. Those that continue old patterns of aggression will find themselves under human supervision." Admiral Grace Miller took control of the military briefing. She activated a holographic display showing the new Galactic Defense Force. The fleet was enormous, built during humanity's 3 years of isolation, using advanced technology that the aliens had never seen. "The Defense Force will maintain peace throughout the galaxy," Grace explained. "Human ships will patrol all major trade routes. Human bases will be established in strategic systems. Any threat to galactic stability will be met with immediate response." The alien delegates stared at the display in awe. The human fleet was 10 times larger than anything they had imagined. The ships were sleek and powerful, equipped with weapons and defenses that made alien technology look primitive. "How did you build so much in just 3 years?" The Altarian representative asked. Chief Engineer Carl Lewis smiled. "We had a lot of time to think while we watched you destroy yourselves. We used that time to advance our technology by centuries. The galaxy that voted to cage us no longer exists. You're dealing with a much more advanced human civilization now." Intelligence Director Tony Clark presented the new trade agreements. Commerce will flow freely under human protection. Pirates will be eliminated. Corrupt officials will be removed. Fair dealing will be enforced. The galaxy will prosper, but it will prosper honestly. The ceremonies continued for hours as species after species signed the human accords. The hegemony, reduced to a fraction of their former size by civil wars, signed without argument. The Trade Federation, grateful for any chance at stability, accepted human leadership eagerly. Even the proud Zephyrians, humbled by their losses, agreed to human authority. One by one, the aliens pledged to honor human leadership and accept human guidance. They promised to abandon their old hatreds and work together for galactic peace. They swore to treat all species with respect and dignity. Jake watched the signing ceremony from the bridge. Below them, alien fleets formed up in new formations. Under human command, the ships that had once threatened human worlds now served as auxiliaries to human forces. "It's done," Jake said to his crew. "The galaxy is united under human leadership." His communications officer looked up from her station. "Sir, we're receiving reports from across the galaxy. Trade is resuming. The civil wars are ending. Reconstruction efforts are beginning." Jake nodded with satisfaction. "And the Epsilon Collective? Human medical teams are already providing treatment for the Red Plague. Dr. Ben Hayes says they'll have the outbreak under control within weeks." Jake smiled. The Epsilon had been humanity's only friends during the dark times. They would be among the first to benefit from humanity's return. But President Cooper's voice filled the bridge one final time. "Citizens of the galaxy, this is a new beginning for all of us. Humanity has learned the cost of isolation, and you have learned the cost of our absence. Together, we will build a galaxy worthy of all our children." In the years that followed, the galaxy settled into a golden age of peace and prosperity. Trade flourished under human protection. Wars ended before they could begin thanks to human intervention. Technology advanced rapidly under human guidance. The aliens had finally learned what humanity had always known. Peace wasn't the absence of conflict. It was the presence of justice. Order wasn't the rule of the strong over the weak. It was the protection of all by those willing to serve. The universe had shuddered the day Earth walked away. But when humanity returned, they brought with them a new understanding of power and responsibility. The galaxy was no longer a collection of competing species fighting for resources and dominance. It was humanity's galaxy now, and under human leadership, it would remain at peace for generations to come. The aliens had traded their independence for security, and found that security under human rule was better than the chaos of freedom without human guidance. Some called it conquest, others called it salvation, but everyone called it lasting.